All right, I just hit record.
Wait a second. Let me grab coffee. Good morning, Jenna. How you doing?
Good morning. I am good. I am settling back in from vacation and
Yeah,
getting caught up
it
on all
takes a hot
things.
sec. Yeah, understandably.
I
The
know.
Bahamas, Atlantis, still on
It
my
was so
list.
fun. It was so fun. It was perfect weather. I feel like it was the first time we did a trip with the kids where I actually felt like we got to relax a little bit. We had friends there too, so they kind of entertained each other. It was a good balance for us. But it was a hard re-entry. Brian had to travel less than 10 hours after we got home.
Terrible.
My kids are all out of whack and in full like spring sports mode. So it's been a little bit of a hard re-entry for us.
You'll be fine. You'll be great once you get the weekend. And you
Yes,
can run them around all weekend doing activities.
I know. I know, right? Well, at least we'll have a little bit of time. I don't think we have anything Friday night to do. So I think we'll just chill for Friday night.
Watch The Devil Wears Prada.
I know. I know we're talking about that today. I am actually going to look up some tickets after this and see if I can maybe get a friend or two to go because I'm really excited to see it.
Me too. Me too. I'm actually more excited to see this than I have been about a movie release in kind of a long time. So, all
I
eyes
know.
on Devil Wears Prada too.
I feel like going to the theater. Well, so during COVID, I feel like I just like stopped going to the
Same.
theater. And then I kind of got out of that habit. I am a movie person. I've grown up
Same.
loving movies. My brother went to school for film.
Yeah.
And so it was just like something we did as children. And I love a good movie. I tend to like what I would categorize as more like slightly more masculine movies. Like The Departed is one of my old school favorites
Sure.
and like
Yeah,
that
I hear
sort of
you for that.
movie. But I haven't done the movie theater a ton lately. I typically will just go with like my kids if they want to see a movie. Anyway, I am very excited to see The Devil Wears Prada too. I think it's going to be a fun trip to the movie theater for sure.
Yeah. Well, for us though too, it's a bit of nostalgia. I was in New York at the time as well, Jenna. I don't know if you were already moved on by then, but we visited Condé Nast, which all the time, which we were pretty sure that's where Runway is based, right? The fictional magazine.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
think there's a piece of that that's pulling us in, and then you're bringing up your younger generation. Rosie for me, Isla for you. We just talked about this morning. So it's kind of a cool co-viewing and bonding experience too.
Yeah, I think I mean, look, we've talked about this on several episodes about nostalgia and everything old is new again. And I think this kind of proves that too. But then we were talking earlier about the collabs that have gone into it. Most big movies, they have certain brand collaborations that happen. I think Wicked had Stanley and several other big notable brands. But this is another one that has
Ooh, it's a
really, really
juggernaut.
big. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Place to play is luxury, and in some cases we've seen a bit of approachable luxury in their
Mhm.
product choice too. Live like the character is a big piece of it. But I think it's all about bringing consumers into the brand in a very tactile, tangible way. And of course, I mean, honestly, last weekend, I'd be hard pressed to go somewhere and not see something that had to do with the May 1st release, which was the omnipresence of it was not subtle.
Yeah, it's not subtle at all. No. I mean the two most tangible for me, like in my house, in my ether, would definitely be Diet Coke and the Smart Water. Those two just are most authentic to me and what I would typically buy anyway,
Sure.
but also feel so authentic to the movie. I think that's the difference is the partnerships we're seeing with this movie just feel authentic to the characters in there. They're not a stretch. Starbucks was another one. We had some
Yeah,
fun
that's
looking into
that's
that.
probably most relevant to my life right now. Although funny enough, we have not dabbled in the order. It's Andy, it's Miranda, it's Nigel, it's Emily, and they're all
Uh-huh.
Starbucks orders based on, what they would drink. So it's just a clean, crisp marketing peeled right from the film too. So smart,
Yeah.
so simple.
Yeah. Mine would definitely be a Miranda. The no foam, extra shot, extra hot latte with non-fat milk. I'd just sub in almond milk, but
It's
that's
probably mine too,
definitely mine.
Jenna. Yeah. I'm finding out from a Starbucks and masculine movie perspective, we might be very similar. I've learned something more about you this morning.
Our listeners are going to know all about us just from our Starbucks order, my Diet Coke need, and
Yeah.
my movie
Yeah.
choices.
You know,
I
the
know.
other cool one for this, I thought, especially as print goes away in this universe we live in and everything's digital,
I,
is the making and development of Runway Magazine, the fictional magazine that these women work for, and Nigel, men and
mm,
women. And they actually recreated an edition of Runway Magazine. Emily Charlton, Emily Blunt, the actress, is on the cover of it. And there was a letter from the editor, from Miranda, and contributions from Andrea, although it was actually a partnership with different editorial staff to develop these fashion forward articles and photo shoots and whatnot. And those have been handed out at key moments in the experiential space, that pop-ups, namely, that have been happening in both Los Angeles and New York, where they're serving Grey Goose espresso martinis, the drink of the moment, as well. Premium, polished, intricate, interesting. I'd love to get my hands on that special edition of Runway.
I kid you not. I just typed in while you were talking how to get a Runway magazine.
Well, right? I mean, the production value alone on that is probably insane. And you think about all these partnerships sanctioned for everything from the Mercedes Maybach custom car to some of the ones, Jenna, you were finding that may not have been official partnerships in the
Yep.
retail space.
Yep.
Maybe you can talk a little bit about those, but honestly, the question is, will it pay off? What's that big opening weekend get, that haul? What's that going to be this weekend? I'm
Yeah.
so curious.
The Runway magazine one is just so cool from like an industry standpoint, even. I can see people like us, people in advertising, just wanting to get their hands on it just to have it. I love a good magazine. I still
Oh,
do. I love a good one. Love walking into Barnes and Noble and seeing like the magazine stand, although it's shrinking significantly. But I
significant.
love seeing that still. But yeah, so some of the other partnerships are much more attainable. So Walmart had a pair of jeans. Tangle Teezer has really cool looking red brush. Lulu's has a beautiful looking red dress.
I loved that
Um,
dress. Great for prom, gals. And they
yes.
still have it in a lot of colors. Lulus.com. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Tweezerman has a pair of Devil Wears Prada tweezers. These are all just like great ones. Again, I think these products are geared more toward that teen
Yeah.
age,
Mhm.
right? Prom dress and just like things that they could afford and still be part of that culture. That is something else that I really like about what we saw from the partnerships is it's pulling in our age range, right? The likely moms or women in their 30s and 40s that experience the first movie, but then it's also pulling in that next generation to experience and to kind of play with it at home and be able to really feel like they're part of that culture. I think they've done a great job. I'm really curious to see what the box office says
Yeah.
after opening weekend, but I think it's been a really fun look. I'm also curious to see if some of these partnerships have a little bit of longevity, right? If you see more coming out in the next month or so, because it's not just opening weekend. So I guess we'll have to
Yeah.
wait and see
That's a
what that
great
looks like
point,
too.
Jenna. We'll keep our eyes peeled. But the fact of the matter is, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe a moment outside of the house to actually make a special trip to the theater, which, like you, has kind of gone to the wayside in the Fisher
hmm
family casa.
Maybe I'll yank Isla out of school early tomorrow and take her. That would be fun.
Ooh, Jenna, now you are
Although wait,
talking.
she just missed a day of school for a trip. I probably shouldn't do that.
Nah, that's okay. Third grade, right? I think
Sometimes
she's got this.
the juxtaposition between being a responsible parent and just being like me and wanting to do fun stuff is very difficult.
Yeah, I get it. Oh dear.
God, this is post vacation me, not very focused. Just like that sounds fun. Let's do that.
You're going to get your head on straight next week.
I was going to say, I promise our clients I'm not being that irresponsible with your budget.
No, no, no.
This sounds fun. Let's try this tactic for you today. Oh, good.
Well, how about Gruns?
Let's touch quickly on Gruns. It's because it's a little
Okay.
blip for us. I won't dive deep into it. I haven't done enough research on it. But so Gruns is a gummy brand, comes in a cute little pouch. They look like green gummy bears. It's a vitamin brand. And I actually, so they launched in 2023. I saw them all over my social feed, probably in 2024 and early 25. I ended up purchasing them. They weren't bad. They weren't my favorite, but they weren't bad.
Well, the kids didn't like them though, did they?
I bought them for my kids. Of my three, one child actually ate them. The other two didn't.
Okay.
I felt a little bamboozled because every single influencer that I had seen hawking these things, and it was a lot of influencers.
Yes.
They were talking about how much their kids love them. So maybe their kids just like other things. But the reason that this brand sticks out to me is because Unilever just purchased them. I didn't read enough into it to see if they announced how much they purchased them for, but valuation numbers I saw were valued at 500 million after 2 years. So this was in 2025, and maybe 1.2 billion
Yes.
right now. They
Yes.
just purchased them. They just announced that they were going to acquire them in early April.
Yeah.
But
That's according to
I
Forbes,
just,
Jenna. The
just
1.2 billion.
fascinating
Yeah.
that a brand could go from zero to that in 3 years. And props to the owner, the founder of this. He knew what he was doing. He built the brand
Yep.
to be acquired, of course, right? It's a subscription model. It's small and lightweight for
Yeah.
shipping, right? So like costs and such. And it could withhold the various food trends that we're seeing with like GLP-1s and all of that. It could sustain those and show to be supportive of those. It's just really, really smart. What from our side of the house, what I found interesting is I would venture to say the majority of the marketing budget went to influencer
Mm-hmm.
with
Heavy on
different,
TikTok, heavy on Instagram.
with nano and micro influencers. And we've talked about this a lot, but those influencers have a much higher conversion rate than a macro influencer, somebody hitting more than, 1 million followers on one of their channels. So you're looking at influencers, some had, 1,000 or so followers, some had 20, 30, 40,000 followers, but the volume was huge and it just created this it was a direct to consumer brand. And then I know it was quickly, maybe 18 months or so, it was at Target and some of the other bigger retailers, but it's crazy to see what an influencer-led and digital-first strategy can do for a brand like this. And really, like, it took off so fast.
Well, it certainly didn't escape the feed. I would say everyone in our life stage and age bracket saw this multiple times.
Yeah.
It's so easy to click that shop now button too. And it is kind of a low lift for consumers too. It's the ritual of wellness. I think that sells really well because it's not some huge thing they're asking you to do. And as discussed in earlier shows, this idea of habit and creating things that are long lasting, this is the space that they fit right into, Gruens. And so between the consumer frenzy that was the marketing campaign, influencer led, as you set up so nicely, and the fact that it is an easy lift into wellness, I think it just hit different in a really good way. And then Unilever swooping in and scooping them up. It's innovation for Unilever. It's harder for them to innovate, scooping up tiny companies. Did you know, Jenna, they also had scooped up Nutrafol, for example.
Oh, I didn't know Nutrafol. I saw in the gummy world, I think it's Ollie.
Okay. Yeah.
Ollie's.
Yeah.
But that was back in 2019, maybe? A
So
while ago.
that's a new strategy, right? And a bit
Yeah.
of a newer strategy. Instead of them owning the innovation,
Yeah.
they're scooping up these other companies that are doing the innovation work for them.
Yeah. No, I think it is fascinating. And that, I guess the last thing I'll say on the influencer piece is, so obviously we don't intimately know their strategy. I've seen a couple different things written, but I think that it actually started by just seeding free product to these nano and micro influencers. So they weren't paid posts. it was just seeded out there and people were more authentically and organically using it. It then eventually obviously converted into ads on those platforms. And I'm sure certain people were paid for it as well after a while. But the idea of starting with product seeding, I mean, we just talked about this yesterday. We were doing a new business pitch and it was something that we had proposed was just straight product seeding. It feels like an old school tactic because it was something that was, we've done with media for ages. And we've also done with influencers kind of more at the beginning of time. And then influencers started wanting to be paid for everything. And now we're kind of going back to looking at a subset of influencers who are working to break in. And so getting product seeded to them and them talking about product is great for them. It helps them kind of break through and grow. And brands can still take advantage of it and get, their product out there with these, again, smaller influencers who have a higher conversion rate, who are willing to use and try and experiment a little bit. So it's a win-win for everyone involved, really.
Absolutely, especially when you're working on tighter budgets. I have been honestly surprised at the success of the tactic, but
Yeah.
it also needs to be a high quality product,
Oh, of
right?
course. Yeah.
Right. And that's what we have seen from the programs you've referenced that we've owned, and certainly with Gruns as well. The only difference between you and me this morning, Jenna, is I did not hit shop now on Gruns. My kids don't even eat the high sugar gummies. So do a green
Oh.
gummy, probably not possible.
Okay, last thing we wanted to mention is Ulta Beauty World.
Yeah.
We cannot go without chatting about this for just a quick second because I'm kind of obsessed with this idea.
Twin dream.
It's my dream, okay?
Yeah, I know. I know. It's definitely Rosie's dream. It's not mine.
I find it fascinating. I go back and forth between Ulta and Sephora. I'm not necessarily brand loyal to either. Both stores
Agree.
are close to my house.
Yep.
They have carry slightly different products. But I love skincare. I love experimenting with skincare and hair care, actually. I just like playing with those products. And we were talking about this before. This was Ulta Beauty World is in its second year. It started in 2025. This year was in Orlando. It's akin to a trade show, but it's open to the public, to consumers, which I
Love that.
love. They this year notoriously gave away gift bags worth $2,000 and tickets were, I think, $160. So if you look at it from a consumer standpoint, like, why in the world would you not do this if you
The
like a
value is there immediately.
yeah,
And I think just to quickly kind of dovetail from the last conversation, consumers were treated like influencers.
yeah.
Those types of things are usually saved for that upper echelon, the socialization of the activation and the experience.
Hmm.
But people like you and me, had we scored a ticket, we would have received the exact same treatment, which I think is cool.
So they sold out almost immediately. I think from an Ulta as a brand perspective, there's something really cool. They have gathered all of the brands that sell at their store, and given them various opportunities. And you have brands there at this event who are showing new products, new innovations, kind of sampling, things like
Yeah.
that. So they're providing a very high touch IRL experience for consumers. Consumers are, of course, trying out the brands that are displaying there, but also inherently, kind of falling in love with Ulta and what's there. We were talking about this from the retailer standpoint. You have worked with Aldi years
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, and people are cuckoo bananas for anything new. Any
Yes.
of the finds, similar with TJ's, Trader
Yeah.
Joe's. And what a wonderful consumer-led concept that would be, just jumping
Yeah.
the industry. Because
I
people would go bananas. They would, they would love it.
I could see Aldi or Trader Joe's easily doing this, easily selling out tickets. It's a great way for the retailer to break through and create so much buzz. I mean, there were just so many articles that I saw about this. It was covered on the Today Show. I mean, it was covered everywhere. They've effectively created their own trade show. I was telling you, that when I worked briefly in beauty, I went to CEW and it was insane. It was such a cool experience. It was akin to CES, a slightly smaller scale, but you walked away with these crazy awesome gift bags and just saw every new product there. And that's an experience I'll never forget. So for Ulta to create that for the average consumer is just so cool. It's like coming into the inside fold, right? You have
Yeah.
people who are now going to be brand loyal to Ulta
Yes.
forever.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, so it's April annually, right, Jenna? It travels. I think it was in maybe
It's in Orlando.
this year one.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. They have not announced year three's location. Don't you worry. I'll get in line and get us tickets.
Well, maybe it'll be Chicago. Good old McCormick Place, or maybe somewhere cooler.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, those were the fun things. This was a light, breezy one. Well, we're
I
kind of
like
getting
our
back to
light and
something.
breezy. I think
Me
it's great.
too. Me too. We have some guests coming up that we're working through scheduling for May, June, and July. Those will be a little bit more focused in, but this was just a little chat and catch up for us.
Yeah.
Last question. What's our impact?
Okay, we have a good one this week,
Mhm.
and it's client related. So last week we launched our impact report on behalf of one of our clients. And it's a not-for-profit organization. And in tandem with that, we launched a huge program to push animal fostering throughout the summer to consumers, which was also part of last year's impact report because we launched year one of that program called Foster 50. And the great news is to just kind of see in a very tangible way all the success stories and the partnerships come to life. And having been a part of that for 365 days, driving that impact very much hand in hand with our client was amazing. It felt like your greatest report that you've ever developed on a subject you were on in school, right? That you're like,
Yes.
I had a hand in this, and this is what we did. And you can see it come to life graphically and again in heavy storytelling. So
Mhm.
it's just really neat to be a part of that kind of work. It brings me tremendous joy. What are your thoughts, Jenna?
Well, I'll add to that. So, yes, I think to give a little more context, so our client Pedigree Foundation, um, they work to make sure that all dogs have loving homes. And we're obviously animal advocates and love that.
Hmm.
So in their impact report, we were able to announce this year that as of 2025, the end of the year, they had helped 1 million dogs, which is just phenomenal. But last year, in launching year one of Foster 50, they were able to help and give away more than $100,000 in grants so that organizations around the country could either create or bolster their fostering programs. Now, we're talking about wanting to help dogs find forever loving homes, which is adoption. The question of why fostering is so important is because we know from some of the coalition partners, because Foster 50 is a coalition, Pedigree Foundation led the charge in bringing together many different experts in the industry so that we could all work together for one cause.
8 total partners this year in 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we know that when pets are fostered, even for an hour, people think fostering is intimidating and that they have to take in a pet for 2 weeks or so. But fostering doesn't have to be that. It can be taking a dog on a walk for an hour or two. It can be having a pet in your house for just one night. It makes such a difference. And the stats show that those pets are more calm, and that results in them being able to interact with other animals in the shelter more easily and thus be adopted more easily. So it all makes a difference. It's a program we're extremely proud to work on and to support. And it's something that I've kind of taken personally as
Yeah.
something I'll probably do. I don't know if I can do it while my dog is around. She's not the friendliest to other animals, but
And
at
she's
some
older
point
too.
we will be fostering. But yeah, I would just say our call to action to end this pod is if you're
Yes.
listening and you can think about fostering again, just an hour, or if you have a work friendly or a pet friendly workplace, take a pet
Yeah.
to work with you for a day. Just that's all you have to do. You don't have to take them in for even several nights. It's just, a small commitment can make all the difference.
Well,
So,
this is the very reason we have Ziggy, because I wanted to understand the industry, and we started fostering last year, and
yeah,
she was our second dog. I would also love to get back to it too, because it is so simple. Take him for a walk. Take
yeah,
Ziggy, take him for a doggy day out. That's the lowest barrier. Have them come over for a night or two. It makes them home ready, and it also gets their vibe out in the neighborhood. The amount of people that stop me on the street to engage with Ziggy, imagine if
that's,
she was a foster. That might be her next home, right?
yeah,
Person that stops me on the street and says, "Let me pet this dog." I love her character, her energy. I'm not sure how many people would say that about Ziggy, but
I said that about Ziggy. She's
you did.
amazing.
Anyway, I
Oh,
like the call to action, Jenna. Get out there, team. Foster, it's pedigreefoundation.com/foster 50 challenge and find a participating shelter near you.
go do it, people. All right. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for joining me. And we'll be back next week with some more insights and maybe a guest lineup.
Sounds great, Jenna. Have a good weekend.
All right. Bye.
Bye.